What's up, guys? It's Gaz. Welcome to the Warframe video. So I thought I would do a revisit of my Umbra Garuda loadout because a lot of things have changed in Warframe since my previous Umbra Garuda video from last year. So if you didn't know this already, I have an Umbra Forma on my Garuda, and I do use her pretty often. But once we go over some stuff in the video today, I do think that she is extremely underperforming, let's just say, compared to a lot of the best characters in the game nowadays. And unfortunately, when they nerfed Magus Lockdown's damage, that also hurt a really fun playstyle for Garuda. Although I do find the nerf to Magus Lockdown warranted for how ridiculous it was. So we're going to go over that. Make sure you check out the Twitch channel and sub to the YouTube channel if you have not already. Definitely would appreciate it, and we try to get some good strats and build videos out to you guys as often as I can. There will be a Twitch stream and a new YouTube video on Sunday, which is tomorrow for me, so keep that in mind. Alright, so in the previous video from like a year ago, we had a slightly different loadout. So this is the weapons I'm using right here. We're actually going to go over all the builds, and we're also I did also change my focus school, so because they nerfed Vazarin extremely heavily. So we're actually going to be using Naramon now, which is totally fine because Garuda can have infinite energy with her third ability, and infinite health with her not infinite health, but a lot of health with her second ability. And the fact that you can't heal objectives with without Vazarin, like, I'm just gonna be okay with that, because the Vazarin heal is extremely weak compared to before. So I don't really like to use things that got extremely heavily nerfed like this did against objectives. So we're using Naramon now. There's a couple reasons for that. Like I said, we already have infinite energy with our 3 and our 2, healing us and giving us more energy. We're also going to be using the Surging Dash. This is going to let us actually speed run missions with our operator. So create a dash that increases the damage of your Void Dash by 30%, increases the area. The important part of this is the area of the Void Dash. So it lets us, if you didn't know this, when you Void Dash through an enemy in Operator, you get some energy back into your Operator energy pool. So if you do it right, you could infinitely Void Dash with Surging Dash right here and just speedrun missions in Operator. So this really has nothing to do with Garuda. This is more of just for the Operator, because I use the Operator and Garuda in tandem. Although Magus Lockdown did get nerfed, like I said, we're still going to use Magus Lockdown anyway, because it's just that good. So that's the focus. I'm also going to show a very special pangolin build that I created for... Oh, no, the fashion frame's off. That I created for this setup on Garuda. Although this build will work fine on everything else as well, so don't worry about it. So here's the thing, guys. We're only running one elemental mod on here, and that might look weird to you, but there's a special reason we are running this specific elemental mod, Virulent Scourge. So this is going to make it where you get 60% toxin damage. And that gives you enough toxin damage that you're going to have a good amount of toxin, but it's also going to make on the Pangolin Prime that your slash is weighted higher. So when you get up to 12x multiplier, with this build we have about 186 or 180% status chance. So that's a guaranteed to proc at least one status, and an 80% chance to proc another status. So that means we can get a double slash proc, we can get a slash proc and a toxin proc, things like that, and it's more likely to proc slash. Now that the 4 times impact puncture and slash multiplier is gone, and elementals are, everything is basically weighted the same, if you want to get lots of slash procs, you need to have the highest damage be in slash. So keep that in mind. We're also running Blood Rush to give us some red crits. In addition, with our critical chance Ribbon, we will get red crits at 12x multiplier, and we'll get red crit slash procs and red crit toxin procs. We're also running Condition Overload. I'll show the Kuva New Core in a second. We use the Kuva New Core with this, and it lets us get like 140,000 damage slash procs in one hit. So pretty good stuff there. The Pangolin Prime is a very slow weapon, so I'm actually going to be running 2 attack speed mods. We have Primed Fury right here, and we also have Berserker. So when we put these both together, the weapon attacks pretty quickly. And then Prime Breach, you just use that on every melee weapon because range is very convenient and very nice. And if I was to get a different rhythm for this, I would want attack speed in addition. So I could maybe take off Prime Fury and put another, maybe even if I don't have the Prime Smite mods, I wasn't playing that week that Vara brought them, but I would potentially bring the Prime Smite mods into this slot as well. So that would be very, very good if I was planning to do a long survival run, which we'll go into. I don't think that Garuda is very good in long survival runs at all. I'll show you some footage of that as well. So yeah, this is really good. I'll show how this performs in a little bit here. We've also got the Kuva New Core, as I mentioned. So In my previous video, we did the Rubico. In my old Garuda video, we did the Rubico Prime, the Hystrix, and I think it was like a Plague Critpath Maiming Strike polearm. Things have changed. Things have definitely changed. I still like the Hystrix, but the Kuva Nucor, I honestly, I'm going to just say it right now, it's the best pistol in the game. It really is the best pistol in the game. It chains, it has crazy crit damage, it has 50% status chance at base. It does a lot of stuff. It doesn't heal you, I guess. So there you go. There's something it doesn't do. But what we're running right here is we're running a Viral and Heat build. This is a Heat Kuva Nucor as well. So with one Scorch mod and these two dual stats of the Viral variant, we have more likely to proc Viral than proc Heat, but the Heat is also pretty high up there. And we're also running Gunslinger for more fire rate, makes us proc stats even faster. And we have a Riven with Punch Through on it. Now, I think some people misunderstood what I was trying to say in my previous video. I talked about the Kuva Nucor. Punch Through does not make the chaining chain farther. But what it will do is if you have two enemies in a row, and you hit both of them with the Punch Through beam, the first guy's going to chain enemies around him, the second guy's going to also chain enemies around him. It allows you to have more chaining, not longer chains. It makes the potential for chaining higher. So that's why I'm running it. We're also running Damage, Multi-Shot, and Lethal Torrent, as you should, as well as Eject Magazine. So this one's really good because you fire some bullets with your Kuva Nucor, and then you swing your sword. While you're swinging your sword, your Kuva Nucor is getting reloaded. You don't have to worry about reload at all. So honestly, a negative reload Riven would be great for this, if you're using Eject Magazine. So this is our Viral procer, and in combination with our Toxin and Slash Sword, it really destroys some stuff. The final weapon that we're using, look at all this fashion frame, is completely off. I will be showing all my fashion frame in a little bit here when we do some gameplay. We have the Shedu. So the primary is kind of up for debate. Like I basically switch between like 3 or 4 different weapons. But I do like the Shedu because with prime fast hands and no additional fire rate, you could infinitely fire the Shedu and never have to reload. Now, of course, you don't get that AoE stagger from when you reload the Shedu if you have this. But honestly, I like being able to like never take my finger off the trigger ever. So I'm running Corrosive and Heat, and the explosion on the Shedu will also do Corrosive, so we can get lots of armor removal with this. So if we look at all of our different elements we have Corrosive Heat on our primary, we have Viral Heat on our secondary, and we have Toxin and Slash on our melee. So we cover lots of different elements here. Now we don't have any radiation. We have a little bit of radiation on the Nucor, but usually the Slash and the Toxin can take care of bombards and things like that. So we have one of my best Rivens before it got nerfed is the Shedu Crit of Visicon, CC multi-shot damage minus zoom. It hits a lot harder than normal Shedu would, so that's pretty nice. And we're not running Hunter Munitions because Garuda's 4 can give us Hunter Munitions if we ever really need that. We don't really need that, to be honest, so this works great. I have ran a 90% elemental instead of high voltage. Sometimes I actually was running that earlier today, and it's really up to personal preference. We're also running Arcane Avenger on our Garuda build, so when we get Avenger to proc, we're getting 130-something% crit chance. So pretty nice stuff. You can get red crits technically with the Vigilante Supplies Exilus mod, which will give you a chance to bump your crits up to the next tier. So a yellow crit will become an orange will become red. You know how it is. And then going over the build for Garuda herself, we are going to be running, this is very different from the one from a while ago. So some things have changed. We are running Prime Sure-Footed instead of the Power Drift I believe we had in the here before. And this is very important, guys, because they added staggers to the Shedu. So let me just show you how this works. I'm going to take that mod off, and we're going to fire the Shedu. That's what happens with the Shedu now. It used to not do that before. You basically are going to really want Prime Sure-Footed, because if you want to use the Shedu like a melee weapon, as I do, Prime Sure-Footed will actually prevent that completely. So this works on all frames, by the way, not just on Garuda. So the way you get Prime Sure-Footed, you need to log in for 400 days at the login bonus. So good luck with that. It's not tradable either, so yeah. I'm sorry to tell you that, but that's just how it is. So we're using that in the Exilus slot. I'd say it's the best Exilus mod, easily. Besides maybe some enemy radar or something like that. We're running all 3 of the Umbra mods. As I said, we have an Umbra Polarity on Garuda. And the reason we're running Umbra Fiber and Umbra Vitality is because it just gives us a larger health pool. I would not bring Garuda to a long survival, as I mentioned earlier. This is just for low-level enemies, making it so that we don't die as quickly. Because with quick thinking, having more armor actually does give you more EHP. And while we're healing with our Blood Altar, more armor is also going to give us more EHP. In addition, with the adaptation, which is specially ranked for Garuda because I can't fit any more on here, and Prime Flow. I'd say all of these mods for this build are pretty much essential, if not a little bit overkill on how tanky we are. Like against like level 500 enemies, you will still die even with this build in a Blood Altar, which is unfortunate, but maybe they could change Garuda to make her stronger in the future, but we will see. So yeah, I'm gonna quickly just show how this works against these guys. We have Guardian proc will have over 1,000 armor too, which is pretty nice. So I'm gonna first just let the enemies attack me. Level 170 bombards and gunners. So I'm gonna put up a Blood Altar. They won't be able to kill me. My health will go down to 2, but that's fine because I am going to be regenerating energy and health with the quick thinking. So, yep, they are unable to kill me. I mean, they're not all attacking me at the same time, to be fair. But as long as I have a Blood Altar at this level, they cannot kill me with all of the Umbra mods. So, if I took my Blood Altar down, I obviously would have no sources of regen, so I would die in that case. But yeah, she can be very, very tanky with this kind of Umbra build, as you would expect. At this level, and also the enemies cannot knock me over either because I have Prime Sure-Footed, so pretty good stuff there. We can just use our 4 to slash proc them. I mean, they're already dead pretty much at this point. The new core can honestly just get the job done at this level. So, pretty good stuff there. Once we get fully stacked up to 12x, we will be getting guaranteed red crits and slash procs on these enemies. So, that is a very nice little synergy to have there. So yeah, let's quickly show like how this stuff works too. So with the Shadow, since I have the primed reload mod on here, I can just spam it infinitely. As you see, we're going to 6 bullets. I will never have to take my finger off the trigger. It will fire forever. And with Garuda, the lower my health is, the more weapon and ability damage I have. So with a 100%, at 2 health, my abilities and weapons deal 100% bonus damage. So pretty good stuff there. Now, the base damage on her abilities are complete garbage, so don't really count on it like nuking the maps down. Even her 4 with 100% extra base damage will not kill level 50s in a lot of situations. So be aware of that. Let's actually get into some gameplay here. So I'm going to show her in a high-level mission, and then we're going to talk about some ways I would buff her. So here we are in, I think it's almost 2 hours into a survival. So the thing about this is that I could literally be playing any frame. I'm gonna be brutally honest right now. I could be playing literally any frame and doing what I'm doing right here. We have a Banshee in our squad. The Banshee's more useful. The Banshee's giving a debuff on all the enemies in the area, making it so like they're taking like I think 10x damage is what Banshee usually does. So that's pretty good. She's also going to be stunning enemies with her 3. And we also have the thing is I'm trying to say is Garuda is very slow. What she does for the team is pretty much nothing. She can give slash debuffs to enemies, which takes a charge time to get the slash procs on these enemies with her 4. She can give very limited healing in a small radius with her 2. But you have to jump on the enemies to get that slash or to get that healing radius. And to get, like, she has, like, a decent nuking combo of using her 1 and her 4 together. But the thing is, like, when you're comparing it to some of the best characters in the game, like Saren, like Mesa, like Korra, characters like that who are nukers, Garuda cannot hang at all in the slightest. Even with a max range build, you have a 30-meter radius on your Blood Orb. And, like, yeah, it can kill level 400, but that was... How long did that take? It probably took me, like, 3 to 5 seconds to kill that one enemy. So it is AoE, so that's not a great example. What I'm trying to say is like I have to charge so many abilities up to get these kills to go off. It does have good scaling, so there is that. But like I said, we also have a Banshee in here making things even stronger for me that they shouldn't be. I felt bad playing Garuda in this mission because if I was playing Wisp, I could give my teammates health regen. They don't have to be in my tiny little... Look at this Blood Altar thing. They have to be in that area to actually get the healing buff. So that's too bad. I also have to, like I said, I have to charge up my 4, which takes forever to hit a limited area with my 4. Saren can literally just cast her first ability once and never recast her ability for like another 2 hours or whatever, as long as you keep the buff going. Saren can also viral proc the entire room. She's corrosive and viral proc in the entire room. And do you see how, like, I also have to go in to kill these guys, unless I just want to use my guns, so... yeah, Garuda also has, like, pretty much no CC. She has, like, a knockdown on her 2 and her 1. And then, like, some limited slash proc, like, stun from her 4. What I'm trying to say is, like, I really want a buff. I want a buff for Garuda. I want to be real here. I really want a buff for Garuda. And some ways I've thought that she could get buffed, I've actually been looking at other sources of media to see how they take, like, blood-based, like, vampire characters. And the example I'm going to give is, if you've ever seen the anime called Overlord, there's a character called Shaltair, Bloodfallen. She actually has a blood orb in that anime. There's a picture of her on the screen right now. And the way that works, that the more blood she drains into her blood orb, the more powerful her abilities become. If you look at the way that Garuda's blood orb works, it's literally just, you get more damage for your nuke in the blood orb. And, well, by the way, when you throw your blood orb, all of that damage you just stored in the blood orb is gone. And the way that her blood orb even absorbs damage, it's a percentage of the enemy's health. So stacking it up to like 1,000,000 doesn't even matter. Because if you're playing her properly, you'll be using her 4 and her 1 together. So that percentage-based health will kill those enemies. So what I was thinking is something like Nidus. Where with Nidus, the more mutation stacks you have, the stronger your abilities become. Like, you become mutated and stuff. So I'm thinking, just like Shaltair, the more blood she has, the more powerful her abilities become, the lower her mana costs become. That's because Overlord's an anime about an MMO, so it's like literally a video game character we're comparing it to. I'd say the more blood that you have in your blood orb for I almost called her Valkyr, for Garuda, the stronger your base damage on your 4 becomes. Make her a viable nuker at like decent levels, like level 50. Maybe even like the more blood in your blood orb, the stronger your healing becomes. Like, honestly, there's so many things. It's really like sorry about that. It's up to Pablo, who designed Garuda. If he must not think that she's weak or something, but let me tell you, as someone that plays a lot of Garuda, I do find her to be weak. So I'm going to show a mission gameplay right here. I'm also going to show all the fashion frame for my Garuda, so if you guys want to copy it or whatever, here you go. But yeah, that's one way. Another idea I had for buffing Garuda would actually be just to make it so her nuking is more viable in the slew of like god tier nukers we already have with like Mesa, Equinox, Sarah and Vol, like all of them. Maybe make it where when you have your Blood Altar going, her second ability, maybe make it where it's like the 4 she was going to get before she actually got released. So in the Blood Altar, when you cast your 4, make it so like every enemy in the Blood Altar gets like sliced up by like a crazy huge slash proc. So you could put these like kind of like blood traps on the ground, where if you've used your 2 on an enemy in like a hallway, if enemies start charging through that hallway to try to get to you, you can like set up some traps. And that'll also make it so you can hit enemies in multiple areas, because her shield is her shield and her 4 are like one direction. So if you make it so like enemies are inside the area of your 2 get slash procced as well, that could make her have a little bit more AoE. That wouldn't solve her problems. Like, the thing is, even with the changes I've been talking about, where the more blood you have in your blood orb, the stronger you become, she would still be very slow. If you compare it to the top tier frames, like I'm trying to, I think with how cool she looks and her really cool aesthetic of being like the Blood Master, she should be more powerful. She should be a top tier option for lots of stuff. She should be a top tier option for nuking. She should be maybe like a top tier tank. I definitely would not call her a top tier tank, especially with the current meta of tanks requiring shield gating. Her health healing is not really important, so that's why I'm saying like Wisp is just overall more useful, because Wisp is going to give the healing, the additional max health. She's going to also give movement speed buff and an attack speed buff, and not to mention Wisp has the shock motes, which are very underrated for her to shock enemies in the area. So what Garuda has is this is what she does for her team. She slash debuffs enemies in a limited area. It's not even like an AoE around her. It's in one area that you're pointing at. It has a limited duration. Like, Banshee is infinitely better of a debuffer than Garuda. And then you also got, saying she's infinitely better is technically not correct, because if you actually utilize Garuda slash debuff, it is powerful, but like that's what I'm saying is it's very slow. It's in one limited area, and depending how long you're going to survival, you definitely don't need it. Like, you really don't need the slash debuff. So Yeah, she would still be slow compared to the best characters. I want her to be good, not just because I have an Umbra form on her, but because like I think she deserves it. She's getting a new deluxe skin soon. She has some of the best 10 skins in the game, in my opinion. The Tiamat skin is amazing. I want to buy it, but as it stands right now, I feel bad playing her. She does not feel like a top tier option at all. As I showed in my Kuva survival tier list from like 3 or 4 days ago, I put her in D tier. She's down there with Grendel, and like honestly, Zephyr would probably be more useful than she is, because at least Zephyr can do some CC, and not just more unnecessary damage. Like we have enough damage already. We don't need Garuda's 4 debuff. So now don't let me complain about Garuda for like 5 minutes straight like dissuade you from playing her. She is fun. Like in normal level missions, she can get the job done, and it's more like the way that it is for her right now. I consider her more of a weapon-based Warframe than a like ability-focused Warframe. As you see right here, I'm not even using my abilities really. I can cut my health with my 3 to get an additional weapon damage bonus, but that's pretty like right here. I'm gonna take a little bit of a health cut to do some more damage with my Shedu. I feel like a frame that is. And the thing, she's popular too. People do fan art of Garuda all the time. I feel like she deserves better, is what I'm trying to say. And she should be one of the top tier frames. And also, why can't, like, I don't understand why she's not allowed to heal objectives with her too. They made this big sweeping change to objectives being healed by abilities, but Garuda arbitrarily just doesn't. For flavor reasons was their reason. For flavor reasons, Garuda's blood cannot heal the objectives. Okay, well, you know what? Venari is a cat looking at the objective. Why can a cat looking at an objective heal it? But, like, magical blood coming out of the enemy can't. That makes no sense. I don't care about flavor reasons. A cat looking at an objective is not... Where's the flavor in that? Was the person that designed that just decided, like, oh, you know what, like... Dude, it's a magical cat, okay? Shut up. Like, that's pretty much what it feels like to me. It's like the magical cat can heal the objective, but the magical blood can't. So, yeah, sorry this is a little bit ranty and complainy, but she is one of my favorites. She's my favorite aesthetically. By the way, I don't use the Garuda claws, like her talons. If you unequip your melee weapon, you can use the Garuda talons. I consider them very weak, especially when I'm looking at the weapons I normally use, like the Pangolin Prime, the Kuva Shield Egg, like things like that. So I don't even consider using her claws. Although they technically can do some good slash procs. That's what we're using the Pangolin Prime is, for crazy slash procs. So yeah, that's gonna basically be it for the video, guys. Hopefully you found this insightful and helpful. Hopefully someone at DE sees how much I want her to be good and is like, hey, maybe we can consider maybe making it so like it's Nidus. The more blood you have, the more powerful you become. Exactly how that would be entailed is definitely up for debate. I'd love to hear your guys' ideas for how you would buff Garuda, or maybe you don't even feel like she needs a buff. Let me know in the comments. We were talking on stream like last night, and a lot of people did agree that she kind of does need a buff, or maybe like a slight rework, because I mean, if you look at the way she's played, like first of all, you dive into all the enemies and get a directional shield. The enemies are in a survival. The enemies are going to be behind you, in front of you, to your left, to your right. So a one-direction shield is not really doing her much favors. So that's that. The increasing damage on her blood orb from getting shot at, it doesn't do anything because you should be using your 4 and your 1 together. So it could just be the percentage that you get and never go up higher than that, and it wouldn't even matter. So yeah, there's like a couple other things too. So. Let me know how you guys feel down in the comments, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Like I said, there will be a Nightwave tips and tricks video tomorrow. Also a live stream of doing the Nightwave challenges tomorrow. It is also a double XP weekend currently, so I'm going to try to get some aura polarities on some of my prime frames. So keep an eye on the Twitch channel, as I said, and I will talk to you guys next time. Peace.